Okay, the first technique is 5 storms, and I'm going to teach it to you 2 different ways. Now, with the help of Cliff, first we're going to start it out with weapons, meaning the sticks, against natural weapons. Cliff's going to step through with a right roundhouse punch. Now, I'm going to step back, and I'm going to anchor my elbow and whip this into action as I block and strike. Every block is a strike, and every strike is a block. The bottom hand is also going to take out his knee as he steps through. Now, this shows you the range of the weapons as opposed to just the hands. And that's one great advantage to have a weapon like this. So when Cliff comes in again, we get both the knee and the arm. Now, I check that arm and I move forward into Cliff with a shuffle, and I strike to the side of the neck, hitting the carotid artery. At this point, I can go to the ribs, or if he turns towards me a little bit, I can check and go to the solar plexus, and by checking, just anchoring my initial strike here to the neck, and then taking the left arm, thrusting it, driving it into him, and then driving underneath. Now, you notice this hand comes on top to check. So if the arms do come up, we can check those arms down. Now, I'm going to redirect my angles of delivery and get off to the side of Cliff. As I move up the circle, I'm going to strike this side of the neck. Now, if Cliff decides to step through or come towards me with his right arm, again, I can anchor with this hand. The idea, though, is to get his head to go down, and then we're going to cross in and hammer to the back of the head or the neck. Now, I can do it just with stick to neck or stick to stick, which causes a tremendous concussion all the way through the body. This is a unique characteristic of this particular weapon. It's very seldom seen where people actually hit the stick that's already locked on target. After I hit here and I move out, if he moves towards me like a tackle, then I take the bottom hand and hit the elbow and the side of the head as I cover away from the action. Now, you got to remember that since you're using a hard weapon, you don't have to go to soft targets. You can change that. You can now go to hard targets, okay? You could go to the skull, you can go to the hinge of the jaw without worrying about injury to yourself. Now, particularly when we came around towards the end of this technique and he continued to follow, that allowed me to check here and hit the bone across the wrist and hit the elbow to hit the bones here to break. I don't have to go to tissue at this point, but I can stay bone to bone. Okay, so this is something else that you want to remember, and which I'm going to show you in the next version of this technique as well. All right, now Cliff has sticks, so it's like for like, so to speak. Now, what happens here is if Cliff swings, depends upon his experience. If he's experienced with the sticks and he comes in and he swings one high, you may be able to catch the stick, or you may be able to catch the fingers initially. If he goes 1 and 2 comes in trying to hit me in the knee as well, then I may get my block in low or high enough to get, again, the hands. All right? But in either case, if I miss the hands initially, go 1, 2, it's the same block as I already had. But I can get him to drop by bringing these up and breaking the fingers and opening Cliff up, and then move in with the same pattern that I had before. Nothing changes, just the initial move to take in consideration of the weapons involved. Let's try that again, Cliff. We'll slow it down a little bit. But as Cliff came in, I took in consideration that I may not be able to reach and I may be overcommitted. So I just took the sticks. But before Cliff pulled back, I made sure that I came up and a downward action here and an upward action here to clear it. And that also opened him up and allowed me to move in at the same time. So as you learn a technique, learn it both ways. Learn it stick to stick, stick to hands.